will get the replay in the subscription, I think. I think it replays back there in the subscription, I think. Enjoy yourself at the library. All right, so we're in YouTube, and we're going to start as if we're starting from the top. Thank you so much, and have a safe drive to the library. All right. So, hey guys, I am Tasha, the founder of Talk to Tasha. I am starting this YouTube this morning with a little bit of coffee, confidence, and cash flow in Christ. I just wanted to come on here on this beautiful morning. It's Monday motivation, right? We know motivation starts up the car, but it does not drive the car. And I serve Care Bears. What is a Care Bear? A person who serves. I am a social worker at heart. And on this 6-year journey, I've noticed that God has been sending me other type of public servants, teachers, favorite aunties, big-hearted people without the titles. So I just elected to call our community Care Bears, all right? So if you are a Care Bear, you will feel safe, heard, and you will be stretched in this space, okay? I want to give you guys this morning 7 signs that you're called for more, and I want you to come back on this YouTube. For y'all TikTokers, you can always go on YouTube for the replay. It's Talk to Tasha on all platforms out there. You can come back and literally see what we're doing on TikTok. All right? So 7 signs that you're called for more. And the reason why I show up in the space that I am, whether I feel like I need to do other things, I want to be the face of freedom, hope, authenticity. If you don't share your story, your testimony, and the test that you've been through, how do we sow seed in quiet? There's no room for excuses in this season moving forward. No room for, no room. There's no more squeezing parts of our body into a girdle, in a shoe that don't fit, in a mindset that don't fit where you're going. You can't change your man and make his mind fit into the vision that God gave you. Right? You can't have a healthy conversation with one another and map out and forecast what it is God is doing through you and with you, and how that level of support is going to be needed, because you're no longer the person that you were yesterday, last year, before them kids came. Right? And same for him. He might be evolving and growing in another area. So you have to know the spirit by the spirit and be discerning of what's in front of you. If we don't do that, we bite each other's heads off. And the whole time we all trying to crawl to the next level and fight from the next level all at the same time. So 7 signs you're called for more. We're going to start from the top. Number 1, you're restless in comfortable spaces. Even when life is good, something inside of you said there's more. There's like a fire in your belly that is really, really showing you and manifesting and somatically coming through our bodies. Kind of like I was saying, my son, praise God, is 22 today, praise God. And so that 9th month of pregnancy, it's uncomfortable. There's no more room for y'all pregnant. Y'all women that been pregnant through the whole 9 months, you know you can't sleep. You turn to the right, you turn to the left. The leg is swollen, facial hairs, all of the things. It gets the most uncomfortable at that 9th month because there's no more room. There's no more room. So when we're talking about our mindset, and I'm trying to squeeze yesterday's thoughts in today's vision, there's no more room. There's a hard reset that needs to take place. So even when life is good, something inside of you is saying that there's more. It's unsettling. It's that 9th month. I just feel this thing. I can't articulate this thing, but I can feel this thing. That's a sign. Number 2, you feel out of place in shallow conversations. You feel out of place in shallow conversations. So you crave depth, and purpose and impact, not just small talk or routine. So let's say I was at a restaurant one time with a person, and there was an unhoused or homeless person passing by, and you can see, like, people that's impactful and progressive, we don't see the disparities, right? We don't look for it. We could see it, but not see it. Like, we don't stop what we're talking about to like, oh my goodness, that's a shame. That don't make no sense. Or yada, 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 right? That's shallow conversations. A progressive visionary person just in this example, might say, you know what, it's bothering me to see that the amount of federal dollars dropping into the local budget for mental health services and to see a record number of people mentally ill untreated, and now more and more babies coming up. Let's get on the phone. Let's get on the phone call and let's talk to X, Y, and Z. So what I'm saying to you is a visionary person that's not shallow in their thinking, they're solution focused by nature, right? They're disruptors. So these are the signs that you're called for more. You're restless in comfortable spaces and you feel out of place in shallow conversations. So in other words, you don't find entertainment in the vulnerabilities of people. When people are down, you don't get all excited about spending your hot girl weekend talking about the Diddy trial to the point you ain't did nothing with your business, right? We talking about destiny over Diddy, right? We're not going to beat that case down to the ground and really ain't opened up the computer to launch a program, for example. Shallow conversations is shallow people. They don't have depth and width to go any further, right? So if you crave depth, purpose, and impact, not just small talk or routine, these are the people you graduating from, right? I never said they was a bad person. Just hear me out. It's the spirit within them that's on a different journey. Your journey is somewhere else. Now, the insecure friends, they may take it personal. That's not your job. So if you feel out of place in shallow conversations, it's always, nobody can afford eggs, nobody can do this, and nobody can do that, and everybody's gonna fall off medic. Like it's just married to what the perceived problem is. Signs that you're called for more is you crave depth and purpose and impact. You crave it. When you go to this Black Girls in Social Work conference in North Carolina, you in the room because you're supposed to be in the room, and you're going to make kingdom connections, and you're not going to throw the business cards in the bag and throw it away. You're going to know that God connected you with people to solve a world issue that's been put in front of you, right? Number 3, you have a holy discontent. These are signs that you're called for more. You have a holy discontent. Injustice, broken systems, or overlooked people bother you deeply. Injustice, broken systems, or overlooked people bother you deeply. Georgia's Journey CEO, right? She have created a movement out of a moment, decided to pick up her phone and her camera and record her baby girl, Georgia, with her journey of autism as you might as well say, teenage young lady, right? And what she's gone through to advocate and the exhaustion of what that is in the medical care and being a Black couple and a Black baby and the doctors not diagnosing the baby properly and questioning her authority. She knew something was off with her baby. Hey, CC, she knew something was off with her baby. And they kept sending her back home. The professionals, nothing's wrong with your kid. She had 5 babies. This is her last one. Y'all know sometimes we compare our babies. Well, this one didn't do that. And the doctor, oh, well, every baby is different. You're overreacting. Right? Sis said no. That's why I say sometimes you're not at a job, J-O-B, just over broke. You're not in a job that you think, but God have you in a ministry, in a movement, birthing out a movement through you. And that's more than a job. You didn't ask for it. You didn't sign up for it. She could tell you right now, she would take anything to not have to be driving her baby to school, not knowing if her baby gonna jump out the back seat or have a meltdown. Right? So we're going from pain to perfume, whatever fragrance, right? So 7 signs you're called for more, that holy discontent, the injustice that we see, the broken systems. She could have said, well, my baby's 16 or whatever. I fought through it, had them come remodel this bathroom because they got big money to do it and they trying to give people all of the problems. No, she came to the parent support meeting that we conduct here in town. I told the parents, I know somebody that can help you from there. I know nothing about this world. But the good Lord allowed me to facilitate that process. And I said, but I know who can come. It hit different when somebody sleep and breathe and not sleep through it and drink, like go through all of the cycles of trying to cope with it. Let me see what her schedule looked like with her and her husband and see if she could come over here and tell y'all. Because what y'all describing, they baby 0 to 3, 0 to 5. She has a teenager. So she been there, done that, and in that. And she made herself available with her crazy schedule because she's living on purpose. And she know that pain to power cost her this. And she's not going to trade it and pipe down and capitalize on vulnerabilities and do all of the things playing with the gift. When she poured into these parents, they still remember her. And she said, oh no, if they deny the remodel for your baby with a wheelchair or any type of special needs and they give you the runaround, call me. Call me. She didn't say I ain't got time. Now she said she got her boundaries in place because she can't save the world. But she said, hold on, because y'all going through this in 2025 took me back to when my baby was rescheduled. And they kept thinking I was crazy when I knew all along something was off with my baby. So when you feel out of place in shallow conversations, that is a sign that you're called for more. The overlooked people bother you deeply. The overlooked people that have children with special needs. Hey, thick thighs. And you had a family function this year for Thanksgiving, for the family reunions, and you got, special need cousins and relatives you ain't never met. And you got one corner of the people at the family reunion teasing them. Overlook them. Don't give them activity to do at the family reunion because you believe that they don't have the capacity to hold the rope. They may not be able to turn it. Pull that wheelchair up and give them something to do. And a teachable moment for your kids that may not have lived around people closely to see. Because sometimes when people scared and don't know, they run, they flee. They on this side of the park at the family reunion. Little kids be scared if your baby got a trach or something, right? Make it a teachable moment. So you feel out of place in shallow conversations. Now, some of y'all, if you sensitive, you water down your gift, you question and doubt yourself, and you lean into this. Oh, Georgia mom, she thinks she better than us. Now that she got 500,000 followers and all of this and all of that, she ain't got time for us. She think that her stuff don't stay. What they saying to you, they can't handle your growth. They can't handle your growth has nothing to do with you. You keep moving forward. That's why I'm doing the Christmas event, so we all can come together and not have to worry about other. Exactly. Right? So shallow conversations, you're allergic to it. Instead of reverting back to what keeps you comfortable, I want you to leave off of here understanding that these are signs that you're called for more. Number 4, you keep getting visions. Where are my visionaries at? Where are my visionaries at? My visionaries, it might look like you got adult ADHD. You keep getting visions, not nightmares. Not nightmares. Visions. You get ideas. You get spiritual downloads that you can't shake. You can't shake them. You at the doctor's office, you driving, you see a sign on the freeway, and it aligns with what he's giving you. And this is what I told y'all. A visionary cannot contain all what God give you and go to sleep with it. Why? Some of y'all in my coaching class, we have to brain dump. One of the Care Bears made this journal. Brain dump. You got to have a journal in your car. I usually recommend not putting journals in your notes because I want you guys off this digital crack. Your iPhone have all those beautiful features. Your Android have all the features, the Apple iPad and all of the things in a laptop. But when it comes to these spiritual downloads, we got to take it back to basics, because there is a study that shows our mental capacity is being hijacked on these devices. We're not going to share our gift with the digital device just yet. So at night, you should be brain dumping. In the morning, you should be setting your intentions, right? Based on the blueprint that he's been giving you. So these are signs for some of y'all coming in here that you're called for more. Okay. So this is, you keep getting these visions, ideas, or downloads, and you can't shake them. Somebody can be, I need to give y'all this example, a clear example. So remember we talked about number 2, you feel out of place in shallow conversations. If you're in the company of a shallow conversation person, a visionary on number 4, you're totally tapped out. Y'all been in them conversations before? You go to lunch with someone, you catching up, you don't know where they at, you just don't know, right? You don't realize that they still on that shallow stuff. No respect to person, no judgment, it's just where you are. Let's please hone into that. Because some of y'all let people believe that they for you, and you just scared to be truthful. I don't know what's up with that, but we got to work on that. So when you in a place in a conversation with shallow people, whether it's a meeting, a family reunion, a relationship, at work, at a meeting, or whatever, a person who's called for more, that get visions, ideas, downloads that you can't shake, your brain is thinking about all kinds of other progressive ways to solve what the shallow person is complaining about. People need to stop counting on others to bring you up. You are responsible for your own path. Come on. People need to stop counting on others to bring you up. Say that again for the people on the sidelines. Nobody gonna bring you up. I had all my years of stepping into the coaching space. I can't tell you how many times people say, can you just get on there? Only people that y'all hear me, telling you about Table of Destiny and all my other clients that are paid clients, that's part of what they invest in, because they probably at work, they on trips. And because I believe in what they're doing, because we're on the back end as a client, then I'm going to tell you, not because they're my paying client, because I believe in what he or she is doing, mainly the she's. I've been having some guys come through. But other than that, I'm not going to be, I had to learn the hard way based on what she just said. You got to believe in what you're doing. That's not the next person's job to promote you and put you on. Y'all know at social work, we live off of resources, free stuff. I gather them. People still email me job announcements, different ways people can clean up their record, how to get the Dream Fund, $12,000. I think she applied for it to get your business off the ground, $12,000. California gave us a Dream Fund. You have to get your LLC in order. I gave them herpower31.com with Ashante Smallwood, who helped you get the LLC for a little bit of nothing. Baby, I'm just pushing them. That's what the email does if y'all on the email list. But people follow through game. If they all in a Diddy trial day in and day out, breathing it, sleeping and turning around, you ain't after Destiny, you after Diddy. Whole time you after Diddy, the next person in this tribe, all of the other Hollywood critters, is doing what they do. Just be honest. Okay? So I had to learn with my heart-centered self exactly what she said. Don't call me to promote your stuff. Don't call me on these fake collaboratives. Just be honest that, hey, you got a big mouth. You pull things through. People trust you. You've been at this all your life, called to it. Can I just lead? Look, can I borrow your voice, whether it's over here scratchy or not? Be honest with that, so I could just give you a solid no. But if I have to peep game through the snakeism of it, then I can't respect you, and I'm going to let that person know. I wasn't always like that. That's what spiritual elevation will do. It will press you to speak the truth and not hide behind, I'm just going to pray about it. So you're wholly discontent with broken systems, overlooked people that bother you deeply, and you're at that job and you see how they're doing so much moral injury to people, and you're really arguing and fussing and fighting about it at the break room, is at the right place that can trust what it is that God is showing you. It's not going to help you mentally or spiritually to keep talking about the things that's going on at the job, right? So you're going to have to understand that these downloads that you can't shake, you journal them out. If you tell yourself you can't sit down, I have a whole anxiety assessment that I do for my anxious clients. We go on a journey. I have a whole tool over here. I don't treat or diagnose. If you're not in California, I don't do therapy. But I infuse my therapeutic approach in my coaching business, in my coaching programs, because I know that they all are interconnected, right? So if you're anxious, you're going to have to learn how to what? Sit down, journal, brain dump, dream. When you dream about them, are you getting the phases of sleep that renders you rest? Do you have a tech time that you do your tech? Mondays, y'all see with me, is my administration days. I can go live with y'all as much as I want. I'm still in my PJs lightweight. This like little gown, whatever. I don't really typically go outside unless I really have to, right? So that's something I built in for my days. Mondays, I'm getting ready for the conference, and there's some administrative things I don't like to do, but I have to do them. That's my Mondays. For you, you have to understand that when you get these visions and downloads and ideas that you can't shake, you got to get them out your head onto paper. And they tug at your spirit every single day. These are 7 signs you're called for more. Number 5, you help others more than you help yourself. Where are my Care Bears at? Number 5, you help others more than you help yourself. I'm gonna pause right there because you know I'm speaking to the Care Bears right now. Let me see what my YouTubers 7 signs you're called for more. And I know y'all social workers like, oh my goodness, there's not more in me. Oh yeah, once the Lord get a hold of you and show you how to serve higher, not harder, and all of this obligation stuff you do, because you always feeling bad for people, and we got to heal through that. And you be very intentional. You're not taking on, like she said, just any and everybody crisis. You're not hiding your links for people to invest in themselves because you told yourself, if I'm struggling, therefore the rest of the billions of people that log on online, absolutely all of them must be struggling. So I don't want to feel like I'm taxing them. What do you want to feel? You said you want freedom. You want flexibility. You still called to serve. You're going to do that anyway. That's the call on your life. So you tell yourself all of these self-defeating things because you're scared. You nickel and dime your investments. I had a business coach for 12 months. I had to shop and pray for a business coach that disrupted my thinking process about this helping stuff. I made a heavy investment because I needed it. And you think you're going to come over here and nickel and dime for $19.99 and want me to text, call, remind the person? Where people saying, well, I think you should help. No, that's not my calling. I messed around and got healed. Praise God. Thank you, Jesus, and hallelujah. That's not my part of the situation. Can't afford it? I'm sorry. You can't afford not to. But keep doing your $19.99s over here. Ain't nothing wrong with that. But if you're not doing nothing with the $19.99, like you do your gym membership that you won't cancel, you go order somebody else's coaching program and do nothing with it. Okay, Christmas in 5 months, you're going to find some money for that because that's what you value. I'm not jumping into no circuits like that I got delivered from. We'll still be here if the Lord say the same. When you're ready, I have so many people come back. They done paid thousands of dollars for their coaching programs. They don't know what to do. They don't know how to log it in. And you know, if you paid $10,000 or $5,000 for programs and you telling me they didn't give you no login, you want me to believe that? I'm not making myself available for that because you all over the place with me. So chances are you all over the place with them. Go look through your emails and do what you got to do. T gonna be here because I told you from the beginning, I show you how to get it without all of that. With what you have, because that's what the Lord gave me. You can't outsmart God. He the one gave you the gift. So he knew that people pleasing, loose boundaries had to be healed before the person go out and get the pretty website. The person had to get fiscally responsible. The person had to be okay with people saying no and unsubscribing to their email list without taking it personal. Some healing work. Entrepreneurship is spiritual. So God knew. So when I came home, I said, we got 4 empty rooms. People moved out. Little people, they moved out. And a couple of offices. And then I go lease the office. It wasn't even about the noise. I distract me. As you can see, it's quiet, right? I want to wash so bad. I'm looking at my grandkids' clothes bucket right here on the other side of this office. And in part of me, if I wasn't on here with y'all, I probably would start washing and folding clothes. Even though I tell myself I'm supposed to be getting this stuff, this administrative stuff done so I can get ready for North Carolina. So knowing you and how you're easily distracted. If I go lease a co-working space and don't use it, would that be fiscally responsible paying out money at an outside office location and never utilizing it? And then I'm looking up 2026 is coming, still ain't got nothing done. But you say you want more money. Lord, you could trust me with more, although I'm sloppy with what I have over here. Okay? If you don't pour into yourself, you won't have enough to pour into anyone else. Exactly. And most people have what they need, the supply. But are you executing it? You go to Sunday service, you log on to all the Bible studies, you reading the scripture, but are you walking it out? And then you want to partner with someone else. What do you think? What do you think? What did the Lord say, sweetheart? So for y'all that's visionaries, you got to use that gift and not have it destroy you. Because what I know to be true is some of the visions and the spiritual downloads he give you, it's not for you, it's for your clients. Somebody can tell me something God gave them, and friend will tell you. It will just come to me naturally. This is how you can put it out there. This is how it can solve their issue without burning you out. This is how you do this. This is how, like, it just comes. I have people, can you name something for me? I'm like the most hoodish professional person you could see, right? Have people that lean on the side of, they was raised on the other side of the track for the longest. They got that little hood juice in them, but didn't feel safe coming out as a whole person, right? They say, well, you got some names and stuff that you just, how did you even come up with Talk to Tasha? I said it was a spiritual thing. How did you come up with From Drama to Dollars? And I had, when stimulus checks was coming out, y'all remember those stimulus checks was dropping, friend? I had a whole money trauma course called Stack Your Stimulus. The project girl ain't never left because she was never all broken like the world said she was, because they were sizing it up based on where the address was at. It was community there. There was visionaries there. There's entrepreneurship there. There's spiritual beings in that space. So you mean to tell me because I went over here and got a student loan, I'm supposed to change and abort and abandon the skill set that I brought? So when I said Drama to Dollars, I knew who I was targeting. I was targeting the hood chick that's going to get her stimulus, how she going to stack it, because I showed her how to flip it. Now, if I speak a language she don't understand, she going to scroll past it. So what are you hiding out, the part of you that needs to be utilized by way of going to serve the people you called to serve? Remember, there's no room for excuses. Now then the bougie lady come back on the under. Well, I changed my mind about it. Can you make me some little hoodish name? Baby, if that's not you, that's not you. Because if you don't feel comfortable flowing in our, what is it called? Eclecticism. I make up the words as I go, but we're eclectic beings. You know how to conduct yourself at the Section 8 office. You know how to conduct yourself at the bank getting that loan. And some of y'all, that person is a sellout. You done missed the whole blueprint. Where you think the word boss came from? I'll wait. Big old sorry son of a, that came from the fields, code switch. And it comes so natural, so it's not as mentally exhausting when it's a spiritual gift. Y'all didn't know that. Big old sorry son of a bastard come out, put the orders forward, do this, that, the third. They code switch. All right, boss man. Cussing him out and he didn't even know. That's how. Y'all better, man, look, y'all better quit playing with the gift. What side of the history you leaning on is all I'm saying. All right. So you help others more than you help yourself. Number 5. You're the go-to for everyone else but you feel unseen or underused. Signs you're called for more. You help others more than you help yourself. You're the go-to for everyone else, but you feel unseen or underused. You're being called for more. Am I given to be loved and accepted? Right? Am I given to be loved and accepted? The blueprint of life has showed me that I only got performance-based praise coming up. All age, you getting a big party, right? You have special needs coming up, you over here like a charity case. Don't have to do nothing, right? But when you are called for more, you start to recognize, I don't have to give to be loved and accepted. God is love. We already broke it down in 2 Timothy. 2 Timothy, for God has not given us a spirit of fear, but one of power, love, and what? Sound judgment. So if he gave it to me, I don't have to earn rest. I don't have to earn it. For some of y'all, that's workaholics, thinkaholics, churchaholics, social media holics. Do you know you can sit up here if you delivered in that area and get on here? Do you know what we see on the mental health sofas and telehealth? What social media is doing to families, to children that feel ignored? But y'all buying them iPhones and Android family plans, but there's no family connection in the family plan. You giving them crack to stay out of your business so you can get online and argue with some fools? And you want Miss Jones to deal with that while you sit in your AC car on your phone and be on TikTok? Like I told my peers, I'm mentoring them. You're not going to see a child on my watch without the family being at the table. When I was in Arizona serving, the people with the big money over there in Scottsdale, Arizona, where they got that old loan money over there, girl. That's what they said. You know, that's loan money. They pay cash. What is that supposed to mean? What does that supposed to mean? You change the rules based on social classism? Is that what we're doing? These babies need parents fully present. If you work in 2.5 jobs to get them the digital crack and then wonder why they can't even fry a bologna sandwich for a summer job, and then you think that they ain't getting hired just because they getting, baby, you got to jump off this chaotic circus. You help others more than you help yourself. Because do you believe that your self-worth and value is based on what you do for people? Why you think so many people want to be seen? I got to be seen. Everything about what I do when I bring a plate out to the table. I have left lunch meetings with people. We can't even eat until you take the pictures. That means you one of them. I'm not going to hold a good friend to that. If you tell me I'm a social media content creator and this, that, and the third, I have people that work in places that they have clauses they can't be. When we went over to Martha's Vineyard and Nantucket and went all down through Brooklyn, we went on that trip, baby, we had a whole meeting because people had not been in the same company before. And two of the sisters said, based on the contracts that I have, the leadership position I hold, none of what we finna do is worth my paycheck. So if y'all have these content creative type things that you do, I respect that. But please don't put me in the camera because I have a clause with my contract. These women is doing commas all up in their income. But we communicated with each other. Why? Because it's new faces and new experiences in one space. Nobody didn't assume, right? And people respected each other, right? So when it came to the pictures and people it wasn't, oh my God, she just hard to do travels with and blah, blah, blah. No, that's what it was for that particular two individuals. And mature people respect each other. All right, so we talking about 7 signs you're called for more. So for some of you guys, it's helping others more than you help yourself. You're starting to be aware that I deserve love, acceptance, peace, right? Getting to this habit of, it's okay if I'm kicking it by myself because I'm not by myself versus being around a bunch of riffraff and takers, right? So you're called for more because you're starting to set boundaries. You're starting to recognize how draining people are. You're starting to recognize that your soul is exhausted, that a trip can't replace, right? You're busy, but you're not being. How do I go from busy to being? So count it all joy that you recognize, wait a minute, hold up. hold up. Why am I always volunteering for stuff? Why am I the cameraman or the camera woman and everything? Why am I the favorite auntie everybody come and bleed on, but don't nobody check on me when I'm in the hospital? Don't assume that they're going to put you in that part of their repertoire. You got to go back to that person and say, you know, I noticed that you call me X, Y, and Z. And what I need you to do instead of doing that is to do this. Extend grace to people. And now that they know they should be showing up different, we got the communication cleared out and we move forward. All right. But don't just write people off without having that conversation, because people have been accustomed to you in the way that you put out there. Number 6, 7 signs you're called for more. Put a 1 in the comments if this is helping you. Put a 1 in the comments if this is helping. YouTube, y'all with me? Y'all watch the replay. Okay, we got a 1. Great. Number 6, you sense that old ways no longer fit. You sense, there's that discernment again, that old ways no longer fit. The job, your circle, or habits no longer align with who you are becoming. It does not fit. It doesn't fit. It's just the feeling that you have. It's not ego. It's not, oh, I'm above that, beneath me, nothing. It's just the discernment that, you know what, the circle of people I talk to, it's shallow conversations. I'm thirsty for more. The vacations and who I kick it with on vacations. If it's a control freak friend that always have to have all the itinerary her way, and you no longer in that space, you're starting to say, my old ways of doing things out of obligation is over. Let me go ahead and have a whole funeral and an A and B selection for that. Let me memorialize that. Let me grieve that process, right? Because you get to know the whole person that you are, and not the 1/3 of a person that you are. And number 7, you're scared, but you're also excited. Can anybody relate to that? You're scared in some area of your life, but you're also excited. Can anybody relate to that? You're scared, but you're also excited. And excitement and scared, it's like, oh, I know I could do this, but I'm excited because the risk that I take to move forward outweigh the fear of me not being able to do a thing and be a thing. Let's talk about being a thing versus doing, being a thing, right? How far would you allow your creative mind and the visionary mind that God entrusted you with? How far will you stretch it today to think higher? Kingdom, after all you've been through, after all the violations that somebody did to your body, to your kid's body, to your finances, to your relationship, to the baby that you had at 13, nobody know about, right? Whatever your life situation has been. And you're still here, even if you're holding on to life with a bobby pin right now. These are 7 signs. You're scared, but I'm also excited. Fear and faith are wrestling inside of you. That's divine tension. God has not given us a spirit of fear, but of what? Of sound mind. A sound mind. The sound mind he give Love Pink don't have to agree with Katie. Katie's sound mind doesn't have to agree with what her mama taught her to be. Maybe her pathway is a little bit different, and that's okay. And it's necessary to break off of what boxes people put us in. Doesn't mean that they have bad intentions for us, but a lot of times if we've been struggling and surviving and fighting and fussing, you always think everybody's after you. What if there's a whole lot of people looking for you and they just can't find you because you over here chasing down the people that's doing you wrong and looking for content creators that's going to fuel you up and reinforce the trauma drama. Because everybody and their mama out here is glorified therapists online. They looked up the studies, y'all. We had a training for us therapists, and it's like 90% of the stuff going out on social media about therapy is just dead wrong. That's a liability. That's why you guys hear me say I give disclaimer and disclosures, because some things I'm coaching about, I'm talking about. I'm not here to treat, diagnose. We do that till the wheels fall off, because I don't ever want nobody to mix up I'm not here to cause injury. If I can't help you, I'm definitely not going to hurt you. And if I'm speaking the truth of the matter of a situation, and if it hurts somebody, then they get on social media. You got to be ready for what you're ready for, because people can swing pages all they want, but we don't operate in judging folks. If you speak in something and a person is unresolved in the area, you're not responsible on how they go filter that. That's why you see fools cussing and fussing and arguing and talking over each other. It's a circus. It's like a fish out of a fishbowl, flopping and flipping, because they're trying to be right. And they would go to great length to be right. So when we're talking about 7 signs you're called for more, and you're wrestling between fear and faith, I'm going to give a recap. You're restless in comfortable spaces. Even when life's good, something inside of you says there's more. Number 2, you're feeling out of place in shallow conversations. You crave depth, purpose, and impact, and you no longer want small talk. Number 3, signs that you're called for more. You have a holy discontent. So broken systems, overlooked people bother you really, really badly, right? You keep, like, people that were really, really impacted on a heavy emotional level with the Diddy trial, right? And not giving themselves breaks to regulate their nervous system, but kept going for more and more and more and more. And this is not even a full-time job. Then you have kids at home, or you called to go to work. All of that stuff is going to work with these people. That's why I say, just because now they got the thing coming out with Tyler Perry and something, it's always going to be another big crisis, right? I've been crisis work for 20 some years. So when we're talking about, we don't want shallow conversations, experience vicarious trauma jumping through the computer and through the news. And then you get back to overeating, gambling, and not coping properly, smoking, all of this stuff. You have to get accountability if you're struggling in that area. It's not about talking about the meth head and the crackhead. You got a whole social media addiction that needs to be addressed, where you're looking for trauma, but yet trying to heal from trauma. Attracting traumatic people to your life, getting on the phone with that person so you can hear her scoop because you're running from your stuff. So number 4, you keep getting visions, ideas, or downloads that you can't shake. Number 5, you help others more than you help yourself. Number 6, you sense that old ways no longer fit. It no longer fit. Don't hold on to things out of obligation or because it's popular or it runs in my family. You need to affirm something else at your address. Making the right, necessary, tough, and necessary decisions run in my family. Walks in my family. Right? Your kids going through. If you going through at 40 and 50 some years old and 30 years old, is it safe to say your kids is getting a remnant residue of your unresolvedness at that address, and you want to beat him or her down with your mouth and online and rally around how this is entitled generation that you and I had nothing to do with? You know we had something to do with it, giving them all of these devices and phones and their own private bathrooms, giving them cars and they ain't got no drive. Girl, we contribute to that mess. We contributed to it. But you on the side like this generation is just so, this generation didn't come out the womb. My son is 22 years old today. Praise God. Thank you, Jesus, and hallelujah. And he said, Mom, I'd rather get this good overtime for the 4th of July. I'm going to be out of town working. I said, okay, son. But we had to get to that point where, okay, we spoiled him. He was raised in a bubble. It is what it is. But thank God for the covering and the correction and the chastisement and the rapid reparenting that we have to do to step back and not operate as a fear-based parent. Lord, cover him. Cover him on the highways and byways. Cover his going and coming. Lord, cultivate the gift inside of him as a 22-year-old. Lord, help me not to parent him according to the statistic of what he may or may not be as a Black man in this country. Lord, search my heart. It's some choice words we could tell our kids, but are you trying to give them a 25 to life with your mouth? They probably dating some raggediness just like we have. But are you making them believe that's the total sum of who they are? And your sister and family members and co-workers and your people who you cool with and who you fool with, that's all they do is run their lips about their children and you kick it with them? The same kids you pray for and had the over-the-top baby shower about? And letting them know that he raggedy just like his daddy and all men are dogs, so you inadvertently saying he a dog? Oh, but we had an over-the-top baby shower, photo shoots. Oh, baby, you can't, when, Tasha, how your kids doing? Why do you ask? I ain't seen you months of Sunday. Why do you ask? 9 times out of 10, you've been on their Instagram. They was probably cutting up at the beach in the Bay Area, Oakland, cutting up real bad. You just coming to me to see if I'm going to give you the tea, baby. You following my millennial kids online. That means you ain't got no kind of life. Because in the midst of it, they writing books and being used by God. And one of them had a birthday. Poor baby was in the street with a soggy diaper on, friend. She hit the corner. They jumped out the car and got that baby out the street. Took the baby to the house. The mama was in there asleep. Said she had worked all night. Didn't even know the baby got out the house. Other daughter bust a U-turn in Arizona. Seen some smoke. Ma'am. She didn't care what kind of neighborhood it was in. She Black. She don't know. White, trailer, whatever they want to call it. She feel led. I don't, based on what she's seen driving. Thank God for people who are available and not on a digital crack where you don't see that you use as an angel all around you. Bust the whole U-turn, friend. Banging on the door like it was her own house. The back of your house is on fire. Woman opened up the door. Her son was in that back room. See, that's the part that we ain't doing live videos about. Because when you use by God, we don't keep receipts like a politician taking pictures of the baby with flies on their face, talking about vote for me. We don't do that in the kingdom. So when they come back for my oldest, who's a version of me times 5 when I was out there, God is yet using her. We don't need to bring receipts out. There's no receipts in the kingdom. Because what we do in secret, God will bring about the open reward. So when the people trying to figure out, how is it that all of y'all got laid off? Your little social worker salary. And Sally Mae pulling up on you and your check and doing the direct, what do they call it? A direct withdrawal off top. And you get served with Capital One. I need some of your money.com. And they say, you can't file another bankruptcy because you got too much equity. Am I testifying right now? Oh, but for his mercy and grace. So when they pull up on you, well, what your how your kids doing? I don't know. I say, why do you ask? Because my job is not, and your job, Care Bear, is not to feed curiosity. I have been places the Lord called me to speak in. I could speak to y'all on here, but tell me to go speak at somewhere, I'll fall all the way out this chair. But it's an area where God will elevate you and you just have to go. And here go the lady. I know her. She was on welfare to work and I was hurt, as if I'm ashamed of that. It has nothing to do with you seeing things out of order and you can't tell it like I can tell it. So sit yourself down, because if we match energies and lose our place in heaven, I would go on to say you had all of the degrees ahead of me. And you was a very example of what I didn't want to be by sitting up all these years and dating people back then where you paying them to date you. Because the way you was raised, you had to pay people to like you because you 300 pounds. I was raised with big women with confidence. As a welfare to work person. So you had the degrees, you got all of the paperwork, you got the Mercedes, you got all of the things, and all you do is have a whole bunch of credit card debt. That's not a life I want. I had a lot of debt in college with them credit card demons in college when they give it to us like that. 16 to be exact. That's treacherous. You get what I'm trying to say? So people that's insecure and try to smother you with their stuff, people gonna be people. My question to you on the floor, 7 signs you're called for more. Are you answering calls that other people placed on you as your truth? Or are you chopping it up? This is a part of the process, and I'm still gonna be rooted. I'm still gonna be moved. If my mama don't agree with it, no respect the person. For some of y'all that got that mother-daughter toxic bond, I gotta get at y'all. Because the biggest hurdles is the people closest to you. You have nothing to prove to that woman. It's not your job to figure out why she's toxic. Lord, give me a clean heart to withstand, and give me the boundaries that I can't be in the company of that woman and the spirit within that woman in this season, because I will not disrespect her. I'm going to respect and honor me to know that I can't be in that space, whether it's a phone call, a text, or pull it up to her house. But y'all that's sitting up here telling your friends, well, you should be ever so grateful because my mama gone to glory. And that ain't your story. That's not your lane. Everybody have different journeys. It's hard to tell a person who mama stayed with a man that was licking and sticking on her. And you saying, well, my uncle and stepdad did that to me. You need to get over. You cannot be in people's business on that level. That's disrespectful to the call. It's disrespectful. Because what we're saying is, even on paperwork, now y'all know I worked in adoptions, the same thing. Same thing happened in adoption. People that couldn't have kids, y'all know they don't sign up to adopt our kids. Y'all know they don't. Our kids linger in foster care like a whole warehouse. But when they newborn, the crack back, everybody want a newborn to do paperwork with and all of this. And I tell the biological parents, you still will never be able. I said, they can never replace that hole that child gonna feel. And now that social media has really been out there the way it is, I cannot tell y'all how many other biological kids done found their offspring on social media. And adoptive parents have never had the conversation with the baby. The kid is 11 years old or 18 or 20 something, and they coming back on here saying, I'm your sibling, right? And I don't know if y'all know that, what is that? What is that called, y'all? Oh, goodness. That genealogy? Is it the genealogy? Do you know how many people personally that I know? People knocking up on doors and finding their offsprings, baby, with this what is it called? What is it called, friends? What is it called? They coming up finding that daddy done had a baby over here through that genealogy, whatever that is. But all I'm saying to you is, when I was in adoption unit, that was the biggest thing. The person have a nice ranch style home with the horses and all of the beautiful things. Still trying to compete with the heart of a biological parent that was in breakdown. No matter how that child is raised externally with the flavor of those things, if you insecure in that area and don't make space for that child to have the questions and inquiry about their biological, then this is not for you. Because you making it about you making it about the house that you gave them and all of the things. That child is going to have a hole in their heart that you can't fill through all of the Europe trips and the passports and all of the things. And they really get hurt when they get at the age they go back looking for their biological. They have questions, they have answers. Now, sometimes they go back and meet them and realize, okay, they still stuck like Chuck. I'm good, but I have some answers. That is why when I did some consulting work about that, I really, really was, guiding these adoptive parents about how and when do you tell a child, right? It's never a cookie cutter time, especially when they newborn and you adopt them. It's different when you got them at 7, 8, 9, 10, because they already know that their parents exist. But you get them from the hospital, and this is a big family secret. This is why they run away. A record number of the adoptive kids run away. They go down this big hole, big secret. They feel betrayed and all of the things. I don't know why I went down that road, but yeah, we talking about 7 signs you're called for more. And I recap the action steps we're going to take because I wanted to lead into our lunch break before we log off. The action steps to take. Now that we have the 7 signs, now if you guys are on here and you just getting on, you can go on to Talk to Tasha YouTube and you get to see what we've been talking about. I'm going to be doing that more and more. If you're in North Carolina, save the date, 9/11 through the 15th. We'll be at the Black Girls in Social Work Conference. I would love to do a meetup, a Care Bear meetup with you. Meet us in the hotel lobby. Get in the DMs, and we're going to make that happen, right? We're not coming away from California just to hang out inside the room. We're going to really maximize our time together, right? I would love to hug on y'all, love on y'all, pray together, and have some good old soul connections, all right? So 7 signs that you're called for more, and now let's get into our action steps into more. How many of you guys pause and pray? Pressing pause. Not just to run to the bathroom. Not just going to church just to be going and don't remember what the message was. But reflect on a deep level. Get your butt up out that house. You're working from home, put your timer on and get your butt away from that computer and walk yourself around that apartment complex, around your neighborhood, getting yourself off this digital crap. And I want you to ask yourself, Sister Care Bear, what do I feel called to do? Who am I here to impact? Now, I'm going to be honest with y'all. This is something that's been on my heart lately. I don't know if y'all can relate. Y'all know how we can go impact everybody and their mama and write our family off? Am I the only one? Am I the only one? Can you relate? You want to save the world, so you speak. This is for my people that run from your problems and you run to service. Nobody sit you down because you're a servaholic. Remember, anything we do in access is a whole issue, whether it's social media, whether it's gambling, whether it's drugs, whether it's church, whatever it is in access of what you're supposed to be doing is a whole issue. Now, whether you want to argument with me with that, I'm not in the season to argue, and not today. Catch me on one of them, the 3rd Thursday of the month when we do our vent sessions. Maybe we can vent, talk, smack, and relax. But as of today, we're going into a journey of no room for excuses in the world that make us believe we're supposed to stuff our whole body in the girdle and call it comfortable and cute. There's no room at all. Period. Ain't no way. Ain't. I said ain't. That cut different. So pause, chill out. Chill out. What am I in the rush for? I'm busy doing what? Where am I going? Who am I trying to prove something to? Who I need to unenroll from? You trying to do something to flex on some people, that means you're not healed yet and your stuff going to be pressed on pause. I'm not on the board of supervisors for the kingdom. I'm just saying from lived experience. If your service and what you do is based on showing people how they messed you over and you got something to prove to them, then you're out of order. A true friend gonna tell you, sis, you looking at an audience. You looking at the ex and his raggedy family members. You trying to do this for this, that, and the third. That's not kingdom building. That's trying to flex because I'm still hurt and emotionally attached to this person. To the point you keeping up, like I told you, the lady come looking up. Well, I'm finna look on the page and see what they do. I said, well, sweetheart, you do exactly what works for you. If you believe that works for you and go fill that void in your heart, and that's what works for you, go right ahead. But you invited me to this conversation because you said that wasn't working. Another lady in business. Well, I know I'm called the coach and I'm going to do the peer support and I'm going to do this and I'm going to do that. I said, that's great. Is this a good season for you? Well, yeah, I think it is. How do you know? I don't know. I don't know. I said, well, you secretly coaching anyway. The only thing you're not charging. So if you're going to set the boundary, you need to set it down, because if you don't show up and move forward in your coaching business and you're doing it for free and burning out with the wrong people, then you're going to abort and abandon a gift on your life. Went on forth, Woke up next morning, you challenged. Well, then how can you go in business without being able to deal with conflict on the job? You think you're going to ride over to business and you want all of, you know how everybody over here parading this $1 million comma business and all that. Baby, if you ain't got no six-figure energy in your life right now, be realistic. You might not have that much energy and discipline to be trying to go after six figures. Just go after the first 2,000 for this month. Let's start where we at. Let's quit being realistic, okay? You know you halfway getting up on that alarm today. You halfway sliding to the shower. Baby, start with where you are. And please quit creating new debt on the process. And I said, okay, so you and I know these individuals, we have it in us. Don't get me wrong. We have all things that God has put inside of us, but we got to be realistic. So I said, how are you dealing with this conflict? So you taking it personal to the level. What happens when it show up in your business? You can open your business today and be closed tomorrow because y'all know bad news travel faster than good news. That's why we get the phone calls and emails and texts and family group chats about a funeral quicker than we do about a wedding. Did you hear they did a raid over there? Did you hear Boquisha, Dede, or Lil Rod, they over here, they done did this, all of that. If that's all that's coming to you in your filter, we just established that I'm a visionary. I'm called for more. I don't find entertainment at the deficit of other people. So if that's all I'm hearing, how can I see the promised land? There's cataract in my vision. Not only do I need these glasses, I need another set of glasses. All right. So let's get into our, what do I feel? And we don't want to feel like my faith is filled with discernment. What am I called to do? Who am I here to impact? If you don't know, ask somebody close to you. If you had, and take this challenge, say, you know what? I was on this thing with Tasha, and she told me to go back and ask a couple of friends that I respect or family, people that know you. If you had to say what I'm good at or what I'm known for, what comes to mind? Ask your coworkers, ask somebody, and see if what they tell you align with what you've been feeling already. See if there's a surprise for you in that conversation. Like, really? I never thought, right? Ask someone. Because a lot of times we don't see the greatness inside of us because we're just going through life and you might feel like, hey, I'm just struggling trying to make it through Monday, right? But ask the individuals and then come back and let me know what came up for you. Okay. So we in action step now for you note takers. Now we're going to write the vision. Remember we talked about brain dumping? Everything, our dreams, our burdens, our business ideas, our goals. Remember, your paper does talk back to you. You don't have to share it with anybody. Share it with yourself. Take a book. If you go to Dollar Tree, whatever notebooks you have at home, get you like a journal and make it pretty, put whatever, however, that'll get you encouraged. Put it next to your Bible, by your toothbrush, whatever it is that you know every day. For some of y'all that still have nightstands, you need to do this at night if you're a visionary. Like if you're a creative being and you going to bed with all this creativeness, you're going to be insomniac, getting up, scrolling, and you're going to mismanage your gift. Okay? So make sure, number 2, you write the vision. Brain dump. When's the last amazing idea that you had and you just allowed life to get in the way and you forgot to go back and pick it up because other things in life just start stacking up on? Think back to the last time you felt excited about doing stuff, whatever it is. When was that? Was it 10 years ago, 5 years ago, 3 months ago, 24 months ago, yesterday? When was that last time you felt fire? You felt like yourself. You felt like you was doing something you enjoyed doing. You was around good, amazing people. You were taking care of yourself. You wasn't making excuses about walking at the mall. Then you start seeing yourself complaining about your hip problem more and more instead of talking, life over your situation. When was the last time you looked at a good documentary with popcorn, unapologetically sleeping in on a Saturday, right? When was the last time that you really, really felt good about you? Not about what your finances look like, not about whether or not you and your man was getting along, not about if your kids was on honor roll, just on the soul level that you felt really good. So I want you to write that down, okay? No filter. Remember, when you write it down, it's just between you and God. This is a line notebook that one of the Care Bears created. Journal write exercises. So a lot of you guys are starting to really use your gift and not minimize it by putting your stuff out there instead of assuming can't nobody afford it. Right? Because I still, whoever made this, I got to figure out if she put her info. That's why I tell you guys. Oh, she put, oh, I think she did. She put speak the life you want into existence in the back. And I think she did put her. She did. Okay, so she put her Instagram and all of that stuff on the back. You always want to put in case people want to come back and get, the product or service or other added things. So she has metaphysical what is it? Metaphysical Milani. Oh baby, that's the thing too. Make y'all business name something that people can remember. Because if somebody have a long business name and they spell it wrong, and even with me, with my Talk to Tasha, I have people that put the word to, and that within itself, I'm always having to say the number two. The word two was taken because there's an intuitive person out of New York that she and I share clients because sometimes they'll book with me and come to find out they'll say they heard me on a radio station in DC. And I'm like, no. So that made me look into it. And I have to go back and tell the clients, well, you booked with Talk to Tasha with the two. And based on the questions you put, I think you're looking for this person. So before we even go into a coaching call, I'm making sure. And sometimes they'll say, oh, yeah, I meant to get her. So I'll run them their refund. And then other times I've had people say, well, based on what I seen on your website, I want to go forward with it. But make sure that your business and what you're doing is something a little bit doable, because people working hard to try to find you and type stuff in and all of that, it could be a barrier to you reaching the people that you're called to reach. All right. So we're still on our action steps. We pause and pray or reflect deeply. What do I feel called to do? Who am I here to impact? Who am I here to impact? What do I feel called to do? What comes up for me naturally that I feel alive when I'm doing it? Some of y'all that's in this heavy trauma work and you are not interrupting the pathologies of people and you making yourself subject to all the noise, you got to position your call in this trauma work in a way that doesn't deplete you, right? So if you constantly letting people self-sabotage and catastrophize and you're not a disruptor in that on the process, then all you're doing is being a carrier of their heaviness, and then you get off the phone with a lot of transference and counter transference and vicarious trauma, right? And if that person is safe with really catastrophizing about what they have going on, that would be a good assignment for them to start getting some of their frustrations out. Either walk in, journal in it, you give them a prompt that when they show up for you, this is what you expect. Because remember, they're hiring you to disrupt their program so they can move forward. You're not helping them by being, I feel sorry for them, I want to just listen to it, right? When you're coaching people, that's a different element. We're goal oriented. A lot of times you can have them go get therapeutic services and they can work through and unpack the trauma in a therapeutic setting and simultaneously be coaching with you. That's a really good braided mix right there. So we already talked about 7 signs that you're called for more. We went over the 7. Now we on action step number 3. We're going to audit our life. Audit your life. Hey, Tap Queen, we're going to audit our life as Care Bears. What people, patterns, or places are draining you or keeping you small? Look at your phone your last emails, whatever your primary source of communicating with people, whether it's emails or text message or a voicemail, a voice clip, social media, I want you to recognize and do an audit of your life. Do I have more people draining me, needing me, or more people feeding me? Is there a harmonious balance in that? Because a codependent person, they attract people that they can fix. You see that all the time in relationships, whether it's an intimate relationship or whether it's just relationship dynamics in your family. Although I complain about it, I keep doing it because it's feeding the insecurity in me. So the need to feel needed is codependency. Although it's burning me out, it's stressing me out. This is my core identity, right? So be aware, I do have options to change when it's necessary for my total healing, right? I have the power and ability to change. A lot of you guys changed jobs. Some of you guys downgraded your life for your well-being. Some of you guys are holding space for your kids when the absent parent took off and left, right? Those are heavy things that you were able, by the grace of God, to get through. So when it comes to auditing your life, what are people, patterns, or places that are draining me and keeping me small? A lot of you guys, I hear you say, well, I don't have a supportive family. Nobody support me. Okay, if that's your authentic truth, although your sister got your kids while you at work, then we need to fact check that. Because when I go back to the drawing board and I say, Queen, if you was to come up missing, God forbid, for whatever reason, you go too long at the store, love pink, ain't nobody heard from you Monday and Sunday, who's coming to look for you? Oh, my brother, oh, he don't play. He'll come over there and whoop-de-whoop. My sister-in-law, oh, she don't play. My oldest second son, my nephew that's like my son, he coming. But the first question was, what does your support system look like? And the first default was, I don't have nobody. If I don't have nobody, they're not coming to look for you. You see how we ask the same question in two different ways? Because the I don't have anybody off the dome, it could be true. But a lot of times what I've experienced, to say I don't have anyone, even if I say, you know what, you want to schedule that next appointment? Oh, I can't do that because I got to go pick up so-and-so kids. That's my neighbor kids. We take turns picking each other kids up because I'm a yard duty aide and I help them out and they pick my kids up. That don't count as support, because what I believe is support has to be related to me by blood. So you listen to the unspoken and the spoken when you're on a journey with folks, right? But we take ourselves on the journey first or simultaneously, right? So when we're auditing our life and I'm occupying space that drain me or keep me small, then why are you sitting on the front porch of life that doesn't feed you? There is a thing that you can do called cross the street. And your mindset. Why do you keep being around people and places and things that smother you? Try something new. Start off with doing things by yourself. Go to Barnes and Noble, get into yourself out and sit on the floor, sit at the table, open up a book, read, feed yourself, right? Get into spaces where you never experienced before so you can meet the version of you that's moving forward. They don't need to know where you at. We don't need to see your selfie that you at Barnes and Noble. You don't need to be seen in this season, right? You need to be seen within yourself, getting to know who you are. And that's how you naturally end up meeting people that's on a different way. That's why a lot of you guys that went to college, you say you met your most amazing friends in college, because some of us was older going back to school and we had the same issues with childcare or, struggling with the same class and become study buddies, right? These are people you met way later in life. And because you opened yourself up for that level of connection, now you're saying, okay, well, you know what? My creative way of being is being expanded because I'm doing an audit of my life. And I don't need to keep being around draining people and keep playing small to keep the next person comfortable. For my project people in here, you letting the world tell you that nothing good come from the hood and you buy into that narrative that you're trying to over explain and over give and over commit to prove otherwise. Who told you nothing good come from the hood? When did you start believing that lie? When did you give the wrong people the mic to life that don't belong? I never met a mic that I did not like, right? Because you are holding it first to the little boy and the little girl in you that the world said you was nothing but nothing, right? So now we're going to, after we audit our life, we're going to find a safe place for expansion. Expansion is not loud. Expansion is not seen. It don't have to be out loud. It don't have to be wide open and loud. You cannot forecast your vision to a person with cataract in their vision. They can't see it. Don't hold them to that. That's not, Brother James, what they can carry. They might can be somebody that make your meals. They might be good at picking you up, driving you to the airport. They might meet other needs in your life. But the part where you saying they don't support me, how can they support? They can't even forecast vision in their own life. So find a space for expansion. Join a coaching group. Join a circle that challenges you to grow, and your growth is safe. Like I measure success with you reaching your goal, right? Your expansion is my come up, right? Because I love to see how God take the black sheep and expand you. So find a place where you could be mentored spiritually, mentally, and financially. Because if I'm over here just with a business coach and me and my old lady going through it, I want to give up because she don't understand that my business is a part of this equation. And some days I'm going to work 10 hours and some days I may work 5. And if she can't handle the vision and the sacrifice it's going to take for both of y'all, then, and we're not talking about it, we're going to make that relationship, we're going to make that vision a part of the crush that break our union up, right? So we have to make sure you have a holistic way of being mentored and cultivated and stretched. Because if you're used to shrinking and you're in a place that really honor you, you have to get used to that. Because I hear people say, oh, well, I don't mean to talk too much. The reason why they talking a lot because they're so used to the mic being turned off. They used to the microphone check, right? They so used to talking fast because so many people cutting them off. But then when you're in the space of being supported, hey, sister Lucy Clark, when you're in the space of being cultivated and it's safe for you to explore and just be you and be free and be, really creative human being that you are, and you start to say, wow, I could really talk to her. Like, wow, I don't have to feel rushed and pressed, right? And mentally, right? Get in a space when we talk about expanding ourselves. When you're called to do anything as a person who's extraordinary and not ordinary, you're going to be taxed spiritually and mentally. They go together real bad. But the work is not being consumed by that emotion, not being consumed by a diagnosis, right? Invite the feeling, as Bruno Mars say, invite the feeling, don't fight the feeling, right? It's not about, oh, I'm weak for showing emotion. No, you strong to know your capacity. You strong to know to be a 1%er. I'm going to have these doubts. I'm going to have these moments how Jesus went up to that secret place to rest, right? So really, when we're talking about our action steps, make it and find space. I like how it says, find a safe space for expansion. It didn't say think about. We don't talk about make yourself unbusy and if you can do it, do it. Find safe space. Sis went to the library earlier. She probably at the library still. That may be her safe space to do what she got to do. Nobody said you need to go get debt and get a whole office and all of the things. Find your safe space at the park while most of the kids in school. If you're able to go, if you at work and you can't, work with what you got. But find, in other words, figure it out. Govern your schedule accordingly and put you at the top of your priority list. It ain't about, oh, when the kids get grown, to get married, to get a dog and a cat, to pick a fence, then I'm going to do it. That day may never come in the order that you think. With what you have now, get your butt up and figure it out. Find space for you to expand, whether it's mentally, spiritually, or financially in business. Number 5, we're going to start small and move boldly. This is what I see with people. You forecasting this $1 million business and you got $2 in food stamps worth of change in your car seat worth of energy. Start small. Take one courageous action this week, today. Launch submit the form, apply for the job, call and get your mammoth, whatever it is you got to do. Record the video. When I had to go turn in my application for my clinical exam, that's something that we had to do because I had put it off for almost a year. I didn't even know if I wanted, I just wasn't sure. But once I start going on a journey, I say, well, what's the worst that can happen if I put it in? I'll have it and I don't use it. But what's the worst that would happen if I don't drop this in the mailbox? I would never know. So I did the exact same thing. Recorded myself going to the post office, getting the money order, and dropping it inside of the U.S. Postal Office to send to the state of California. And making a video of it. So what is something you can take courageous action this week? Record it. Nobody needs to see it in the world that want to see everything. And it's between you and God on how you took the first step. That's going to be amazing for a lot of people that have the anxiousness of wanting people to see everything. Number 2 is the accountability within yourself that I can do it, whether I have, depression, financial problems, all of the things that life brings us at some point or the other. I'm still going to show up starting small, but I'm moving boldly. And I don't need the get along game to come with me, right? This is between me and God. Number 6, I want to say this to the top of my lungs. Hold on, let me sip a whole cup of coffee. As y'all can see, it's 12:05. All right, you ready? Number 6, upgrade your environment. Upgrade your environment. I'm going to say it again. Upgrade your environment. Surround yourself with bold dreamers. Y'all see us getting ready for the trip? Bold dreamers, people who serve, social work conference, Black women in social work getting together, locking arms, resource sharing, kingdom building, right? We rearranging your physical or your digital space to reflect where you're going. Rearrange your physical, your digital, how you show up online. Is it reflecting where you're going? I happen to be a person that just love to be a down-to-earth person that don't do well if something is boxed in. I don't want to be the person known as always having to get made up and dolled up to come out here and be a service to Care Bears. That's too much pressure on me with the lifestyle that I have as a grandmother and a wife and a mother. Not even in that order, but y'all get the point. I don't want that pressure. Great. If somebody perfect and polished all day, every day with they whatever, that's their calling. It just happened to not be mine. Oh, if you do this and you say it like this and you put this on and airbrush this and that, you'll be able to sell this for that. Okay, baby, that's not my strategy. My strategy is a kingdom strategy. It don't make sense to what the world is trying to tell me to do. It brings me anxiety. And I operate with the Lord. He don't operate in confusion and get me all burnt out and stressed out. And I'm supposed to come out here and serve Care Bears. Go on with your bad self. If that's how yours operate, great. I'm not going to judge you for that. So respectfully respect where I'm at. Because, people love giving radical advice. Y'all notice that, right? They're probably not doing too much with their stuff, but they'll come give you radical advice all the time, unsolicited at that. So be mindful that it's okay to start small and move boldly, but I have to upgrade my environment. And your environment can be anything, your physical environment, your digital environment, the environment of who you rock with, right? Your environment of, the things that you pay attention to, right? Your environment of your mindset and the speech that you declare over your life. Rearranging my physical environment. You have an apartment complex you live in. Are you hanging out on the front porch with the ones that's beating down what's going on and all the cuts day in and day out? Somebody on the front porch needs to be talking about breaking up with lack and limitations and get out here and use their lived experience and build something from it. Because I mean, your pain costs you something. It's your time to cash in at this point. It wasn't there to just suffocate you. That's where self-defeat is breeding from. Oh, this just happened just because. No. There's perfume time. Pain to perfume. To power. To ultimate promise that God has for me. So what is it going to cost you today? To surround yourself with bold dreamers that do not sell their soul to the enemy to get wherever there is supposed to be. Because what you don't know is when you operate in the kingdom, you already there where he wants you to be. And the baby step forward, the leap forward, whatever it is, it's not about showing up tall and bright and big. When that next thing comes, that's attainment addiction. That's a vicious cycle. Honor where you are now and rearranging your environment that really complements and affirm where you're going. And the last one is declare it out loud. I was born, say this with me, I was born for more. I honor the assignment on my life. I honor the assignment on my life. Say it with me. I was born for more. I honor the assignment on my life. I am not shrinking in this season moving forward. Hey, Star Gal, you get to watch the replay on YouTube. It's called 7 Signs You're Called for More, Star Gal. 7 Signs You're Called for More is what we spent time on this morning. So make sure you jump on YouTube if you're feeling led to kind of comb through some of the things we went through. The 7 signs that you're called for more and the action steps to move forward. All right. So make sure you guys are governing your energy as we talk about our energy budgeting as a really big thing. Budgeting your energy. Who needs me? What feeds me? Am I harmonized? Am I tilted to the need versus the feed, right? Is that really something I need to tune up this week? So I don't make myself believe that I'm responsible for all of the things, right? And robbing myself of living the life that I'm called to live. If you are living in excuses, there's no room for it. Absolutely no room. YouTube, there's no room. There's absolutely no room for excuses. The excuse that you tell yourself day in and day out is really conflicting with where you want to go. And that's what breeds self-doubt. And if I'm trapped in my past, depression creeps in. And if I blame myself for my past in areas I had no control over, depression comes to try to take a seat. And it tries to dominate your thought process. And then it dominates your energy. And then it dominates, your inactivity. But the same shit that you say you didn't have, you get up and you give that energy budgeting away. So keep those things in mind. And right now, we're going to, let's see. All right, so I'm going to make a recap. And I'm in here with YouTube. All right. So Seven Sons. Let me see what about YouTube at. Hey, baby. Hey, baby girl.